Once upon a time, there lived a wealthy woman called Iya Ireti. She was a businesswoman and owned her own restaurant where she sells local delicacies to people in the area. Her restaurant was well known in the area and she made a lot of money. People came from far and wide to eat from her restaurant and she charged outrageous prices for her meals. Iya Ireti didn't have good customer relations. You would hear her screaming at her customers from time to time, but they would still apologize to her and still patronize her no matter how much she insulted them or embarrassed them. Iya Ireti walked with a air of arrogance and was extremely rude to her customers. Yet, no matter how she acted, more people would still troop into her restaurant to buy from her. They would even wash their own plates by themselves. People complained about how saucy she was. However, it didn't stop them from still patronizing her. Women were not left out. Some even bought pots of food from her to serve their families at home. Unknown to them, Iya Ireti was a diabolical woman, and the secret to her successful business and nonchalant attitude to her customers is rooted in something so sinister that it can make the toes curl. Iya Ireti had three rituals that she would perform on her food before it can be released to be sold to her customers. The first one is she and only she would prepare the meals no matter the quantity or number of times she is required to prepare it. Her staffs only prepare all the ingredients and present it to her as she requests for them in her private grand kitchen. Her staff didn't understand this, but they complied because she pays them well despite how poorly she treats them. Secondly, she had an occultic broom which she uses on the top of her rice and other foods after cooking them. She would sweep the top of every meal she made lightly with the broom while reciting some incantation. This made sure that no matter the amount of food that a person buys from her, they will never be filled and will continue to ask for more because the broom will continue sweeping in the room where it's kept from the moment the first person tastes the food to the moment when the last person eats his food. This will make sure that our customers keep coming back for more. They will never feel full and will keep coming back to buy more food. They will spend huge amounts of money buying food and won't be able to save or even be satisfied. Finally, Iya Ireti's final ritual was to use the water used to wash a corpse to make her stew. This she did while reciting incantation. This would make her food aroma irresistible to her customers. Iya Ireti continued this ritual for many years and amassed a lot of wealth in the process. She was so rich that an entire lane in the street where her restaurant was located belonged to her. But no matter how long a lie has existed, the truth must always override it. Iya Ireti had a staff named Bisola. Bisola was very curious and wanted to know why Iya Ireti forbade them from entering the room inside the grand kitchen and even the grand kitchen. These instructions weren't normal to Bisola, so she was bent on getting to the root of it. One day, when Iya Ireti went into town to gather supplies for her next day's cooking, Bisola slipped away while the other staffs were busy serving. She quickly made her way into the kitchen. To her dismay, there was nothing special about the kitchen. It is a very big kitchen and it was very beautiful. Bisola sighed and was about to leave when she heard a sweeping sound coming from the room that was out of bounds. It was locked. Bisola peeped into the keyhole. She couldn't see clearly, so she decided to open the door using the key she had cut without Iya Ireti's consent. Bisola became even more disappointed. What is so special about this broom that Iya Ireti would lock it up in a whole room? She wondered. She picked up the broom, locked the door and took it with her. She would use it to sweep the kitchen and gather all the cobwebs that the other brooms couldn't reach. Once Bisola got into the other kitchen, Iya Ireti let her staff use. She began to sweep the kitchen. She even climbed up a table in order to get the cobwebs in the corner of the kitchen. In the restaurant, all hell broke loose. As soon as Bisola began to use the broom to sweep sand, cobwebs, dirt and debris, all these things began to appear in the customers' foods. Stews and soups turned black and began to produce horrendous smells and maggots. Chaos erupted in the restaurant. Customers were mortified. The smell of rotten and dead things filled the air in the restaurant and even engulfed the streets. Customers couldn't even leave fast enough. They fell over each other as they struggled to get out of the restaurant. The customers that had eaten the food were vomiting. Even the staffs ran away. Bisola came out, saw what had happened, and took to her heels, running for dear life. In a few minutes, there was no single soul in the restaurant. Even the rats ran away. Iya Ireti returned with all the goods she had bought. I was surprised to find the place empty. She walked inside and saw her sacred broom lying on the floor, and her blood ran cold. The worst has happened. Iya Ireti ran away from the restaurant in great speed and horror, never to be seen again. Her restaurant stood in its magnificence, a shadow of itself, desolate and cold. People threw fearful glances at it and warned their children about going there. The lesson to be learned from this story is that deceit and unethical behavior may yield short-term gains, but ultimately it will lead to downfall. Integrity, honesty, and customer satisfaction are essential for long-term success. Honesty is always the best policy in business and life. What goes around comes around. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like our video, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.